Now, let's explore more about the clinical manifestations of this lupus. Coming to the manifestations of the skin, there are acute, subacute, or chronic cutaneous manifestations which are present in around 80 to 90% of the patients. Even with these, there may be diffuse hyperpigmentation or maculopapular rash and discoid lesions which are seen in 50 to 30% of SLE patients. In every clinical condition, there is a syndrome associated with it. Here in SLE, antiphospholipid syndrome is typically associated as livedo reticularis, which I am showing you now. SLE is characterized by the presence of psoriasis-like lesions in the skin. You need to remember that anti-RO antibodies, these are commonly associated with SLE. Rash on mucous membrane and scalp. This include oral cavity, nose and vagina. Oral ulcers are usually small, multiple, painless. Patal erythema at the junction of hard and soft palate indicates active disease. Though this is mostly painless, but sometimes it may lead to ulceration. Another sign of active disease is scalp tenderness. Vascular cutaneous lesions. These include Raynaud's phenomena, urticaria, palpable purpura, nail fold lesions, and splinter hemorrhages. Here, everything needs to be remembered for diagnosis. Elbow is the commonest site of cutaneous vasculitis. Lesions may also occur in the palms. These resemble as ossular nodes and Janeway's lesions. Ossular nodes are painful red raised lesions and Janeway's lesions are rare and non-tender, which are very small. Clinical manifestations over musculoskeletal. Here, the small joints of both the hands, knees and wrist are mostly affected with the frequency of 90%. When a patient comes to us with SLE, avascular necrosis and the infection must be surely suspected. You can easily know if the patient is suffering with avascular necrosis as it presents with sudden onset and persistent pain and swelling of your joints, mostly hip joint and often bilaterally. Not only these, the patient may even suffer with tendinovitis where the tendon is inflamed and even it may lead to tendon rupture. All these effects may reveal to myalgia, myositis and the muscle weakness. Mostly in few patients these symptoms are seen. Here the important point is we need to exclude the history of using steroid and chloroquine, which may also induce myopathy. The renal involvement is present in more than 50% of the patients, which is important determinant of our prognosis. This may manifest as nephritis where the kidney is inflamed or nephrotic syndrome. Even unexplained hypertension can also lead to the renal involvement of SLE. RBC Cas is the most common laboratory indicator of renal involvement and even the urine examination and proteinuria are diagnosed. Renal disease associated with SLE preceded by high anti-dsDNA antibody titers and low C3-C4 levels. Neuropsychiatric lupus. It is the second serious manifestation of SLE being associated with significant morbidity and mortality. Though its pathogenesis is not clear, it is associated with thrombosis, vasculopathy and antibody-induced cell damage, which play a very important role. The patient may also suffer with headache, which includes migraine and subtle cognitive dysfunction, which are common. The most common cardiac manifestation is pericarditis, which is often very silent, but others including the cardiac tamponade and constrictive pericarditis. Even the myocarditis may be present as unexplained tachycardia, heart failure, arrhythmia or heart block. The very fact we need to remember is Sachs endocarditis. It is a form of non-bacterial endocarditis, which is a classic cardiac manifestation of SLE. I hope you have got more information in this video. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe. Yours, your 5 Easy Learning.